Hello everyone, my name is Neil and today I'm going to talk about the economic calendar. I will briefly explain what it is and then talk about its importance. Now, what is the economic calendar? Well, as the title says, it's a calendar that refers to the scheduled dates of significant data releases or events that may affect the movement of individual security prices or markets worldwide. Now, such releases might include or they include interest rate decision, gross domestic product, rate of employment and unemployment, rate of sales, inflation indicators, trade balance, which is imports and exports of a country, and much more. Now, the economic calendar is important to all traders and investors, as well as to every other participant in the financial market. Traders and investors pay close attention to the data releases, and in return, they try to identify possible investment opportunities. The data releases and announcements are usually presented at a specific time and date in either a percentage rate or units. They are presented with the present value, previous, and the prediction, the forecast, as a way of comparison. The data announcements are usually, if not most of the time, from major worldwide markets and economies. It is important for you to know that it's updated every week, which means that every new announcement can possibly influence the movement of the financial markets on a weekly basis. Now, as I said before, I'm going to give you a simple example. So, as I mentioned before, one of the announcements can be the interest rate, as well as rate of employment and the trade balance. And what is it? Okay, so let's imagine that a central bank of a country from a major economy decides to change the interest rate, either increase it or decrease it. The first asset that could possibly be affected is the currency. Following that, we can possibly see changes in the level of inflation, level of exports and imports, as well changes in the rate of employment and unemployment. For most, if not all, traders and investors, the economic calendar is of high importance, and it is a true source of financial information. And in the financial sector, market news, it's the driving force. Hence, the awareness of important news can be of a great help. Now, I will elaborate a little bit on the example. So again, going back to the interest rate. If, let's say, a certain country decides to increase or decrease the interest rate, what first and foremost does, it can possibly affect, and most of the time it does, not always, keep that in mind, forces the interest, in other words, the acquisition of that currency, should the interest rate increases or decreases. Why? Quite simply, let's assume, not definitely, let's assume that country A increases their interest rate. What would that do? First of all, an increase on the interest rate attracts foreign investors, foreign capital. In other words, if let's say we're in country A, people from country B, once they see a raise on the interest rate, can move some of their investment capital into the banks of country A. Why? So that they gain on the savings account. Also, it would cut down spending of the residents of country A. Now, if you're a currency trader, you would pay very close attention to that, because as we know, currency is traded in pairs, so there would be a huge difference, or let's say a difference between the exchange rate. So traders and investors, especially FX traders, pay close attention to that. I hope that example gives you an idea. Also, let's say the level of inflation. An announcement in the level or an indicator in the level of inflation, again, it's of highly importance. It's very important to traders to pay close attention and know when the data release would come out, because through that they can possibly do an investment, whether that is in currencies, in stocks, so on and so forth. And as we mentioned on a previous podcast, the inflation rate can be both as a positive or negative. So to sum it up, traders and investors, as we said before, pay attention. They every day look at the announcements that every week the economic calendar has to show, so they can either do a simple quick day trade or a long-term trade. Feel free to send me any questions you have. My name is Neil. Thank you for your time. Wishing you a great day. Bye.